Hi there, today we're going to be looking at the Flash Player component of the Composite Application Component Library. With this component, you can insert Flash animations into your Composite application. If we call up the wiring page for this component, we can see that there are two primary actions through which we can control this component. First is the movie URL action. To this we can specify a notes URL to a file attachment, or we can specify a web URL to a page that has a SWF file on it, or we can specify a path to an SWF file on our disk. The component will then load up this file and prepare to play it. Through the movie command action, we can then use such commands as play, stop, forward, rewind to control how this clip is played. We'll demonstrate these actions in play by wiring it up to the standard types tester, another component in the library, and use those to demonstrate its capabilities. So first you can see here where we enter in a notes URL to a file attachment and hit set. That sends the URL to the player, and we can see that the player loads this up, and when we hit play, it plays the content. And here we enter in the complete file path to a file on our disk, which also contains a Flash animation, and when we set that, it also plays that. And lastly, we're going to enter in a HTTP URL to point at some content on the web. As we can see, the player will load and play that just the same. In addition to being controlled through actions, you can also set up the Flash player to run statically, to look at advanced component properties, and to play fixed resources based on those settings. The Show Controls advanced component setting allows you to specify whether the little control bar appears or not. If you want your users to have control over whether they can play and pause the playback, you can set that to Y. If you don't want it there at all, you can set it to N and it won't be displayed. You can also set the movie URL parameter, and this is exactly the same as the action, but it's read upon startup and initializes with that animation already loaded. Similarly, the movie command parameter works the same as the action. You can give an initial action to be taken, usually play, when the animation is loaded upon startup. So altogether, it's an individual control that allows you to add Flash animations to your Composite application. But more than that, the source code for this is included in the library, and if you have an OLE component, whether it's a media player or any other sort of component, you can use a pattern very similar to the one we used for this Flash player to embed your OLE player, your OLE component, into a component for a Composite app and expose various of its verbs as actions so that they can be controlled by other components.